So I got an email from a viewer named Mohammed, and Mohammed said, "Hey Jayce, love your shows, thanks for the inspiration, but I still have a serious problem. I've taught myself some Java skills, I even did some work for a friend that was not too bad, but I cannot find a paying job. I either don't have enough experience or I'm just not qualified. Help me find a paying gig, please." Well, Mohammed, today's show is for you and all the other Mohammeds out there. Welcome back, XDA crowd. My name is Jayce, and today we talk more about money, specifically money that can be earned as an employee who works in Java or the Android platform. So this is where we got to stop and just clear up some confusion that I've seen here. Some people are confusing Java and the Android platform and assume that they are synonymous. They are not. Android uses the Java language, but not its class libraries. Okay, so the Java platform is separate from the Java language as a tool. Now, Android does not execute code on the Java virtual machine like you might expect. It executes on the Dalvik virtual machine, and that's an important distinction. I think what people are seeing is they're seeing the most popular Java job posting out there, which states, they call it a J2EE Java developer. And there's a lot of demand for those types of developers, and the pay is very, very sweet. But J2EE stands for Java Platform Enterprise Edition, and that's a developer that's building enterprise software for large companies, not Android in almost all cases. That's an important distinction. Now, it should also be added that there are Java specialties that these job postings that I've linked in the show notes below don't necessarily distinguish between the different specialities within Java technology. So there's Java in the cloud, Java embedded, Java mobile, i.e. Android, and Java enterprise. So you got to take that into account when you look at these job postings when they say it starts at 90,000 or 120,000 or 80,000. What specifically is that job posting? In many cases, it's J2EE, the Java Platform Enterprise Edition. You're building enterprise technology. That's the biggest group of developers that they're looking for. Okay, now to the news that we want to talk about in this video, and that is that the Wall Street Journal published just a few weeks ago, or 2 or 3 months ago, about a white paper that was published by freelancer.com. Freelancers like Odesk and Elance, it's where people can find jobs online, or you can hire for someone a job online or get a job online, and it's all transact online. So I could hire someone in India while I'm here in Canada. So what they did was they detailed the top 50 online jobs for 2013 first quarter. And right at the top of that list, or near the top of the list, at number 6 was Android developer. It didn't say software developer, it just said Android developer. Very, very interesting. Why do you think that is? Well, we're going to take an educated guess here, and we're talking about things like Freelancer, Odesk, and Elance, where you have a lot of intermediate level, beginner level developers who've taught themselves Java or Android online and are now providing services in those platforms. And as someone who has used those platforms before to get a job done and hired someone, I can tell you that like 80% of the people there are just either not reliable, do not communicate well, or just put out bad work. That if you can put out good work and you can be reliable and communicate well and collaborate with someone from another country well, you're never going to be out of work, and you can charge, the higher rates if you can get a few good solid reviews. Now, for those of you who know some of those platforms like Elance and Odesk and Freelance, you know that those reviews can be gained. It's just like Amazon reviews, right? Those Amazons can be manipulated a little bit, but if you can get a few good solid reviews from decent customers that are willing to give a detailed review, you're going to get work. That is the way to do it. To answer Mohammed's question, and anyone else who has this question, because I've got a lot of emails like that, you need to work for free in the beginning. So I would contact some of the higher profile freelancers on those platforms and say, look, I would like to take a piece of your work and do it for free. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. I would love to take a piece of that and just do it to get enough experience. And hopefully over time, you're starting to make connections with the people that you work with, and that gets you in the door to get some work. You have to work for free or very cheap in the beginning, because what you want is a portfolio. You want demonstrated proof that you can build something that matters on a reasonable schedule. That's the key. You see, if you go directly to a client or pitch a client on one of these platforms like Freelance or Odesk and say, hey, you know, I'll do your product for much cheaper or free just to get the experience, it's not an appealing offer to them, because they have more money than time. They'd rather pay the money to hire someone who has a proven track record than take a risk on you. So what you need to do is don't approach the client, approach the experienced developer and try and piecemeal some of their work and say, look, you know, I can do some of the back end work, I can do some of this work, I'll take a piece of it and I'll do it for free. And you know, it's much less risk for them. They have much more benefit and less risk. So it's a reasonable pitch. You're getting connections with the client, possibly, and you're getting connections with an experienced Java developer. That's the way to go. Try it, see how it works, and let me know in the comments below. So guys, I had a plan for next weekend's 2 shows. I have 2 interviews lined up next week with people who a year or 2 ago were total beginners and are now working in development and really had to turn that around in a non-traditional way. They couldn't afford the time to go back to university for 4 years, so they had to teach themselves, go to hacker school or whatever. They had a combination of the two to get their foot in the door and get paying gigs. What I would like to do is get 2 more interviews next week with those people and mash them up for 2 extended interviews for Saturday and Sunday next week. So if you are one of those people who have, you know, a year or 2 ago, you weren't in development and you've turned your career around and got your foot in the door and now you have a paying gig, I would love to hear your story and share it with the XDA community. You can email me at jace@howtobecome.tv, right there. Thanks guys, please like and subscribe, comment. I want to hear your feedback. Do you like it? What don't you like? Suggestions for future shows. Take care. They're willing to pay for someone who already has a proven track record. Proven track record. Wathgilly wabbit.